Hello, my friends. Time for another fantastic Revit tip. Today's Revit tip is going to be about revisions. Okay. I don't believe I've talked about them in the past, and it's time to talk about them only because revisions happen. I mean, our drawings, we try to make them so perfect, but after they go out to bid, sometimes there are questions about things. We're like, oh no. And when changes have to happen to your drawings after they are out for bid, then you have to submit what's called a revision to the drawings, okay? And it's got to be fairly formal. You can't just tell one contractor the answer to a question and not another contractor. So it has to be a formal thing so that it's apples to apples, and you submit the pages that have changes on them out so that the different contractors that are bidding on the project have the right information. Anyway, okay, so here we go. Let's talk about revisions. I'm going to share my screen with you. Here we go. Okay, there we are. And let's get my face over here. So what we're talking about here, I'm going to go to a sheet, okay? Let's go to the first floor sheet. So here's a sheet in the project, okay? And down in somewhere on your title block, you've got an area for revisions, okay? Now, I just realized that sometimes you want to put information in this area that is not a revision, okay? Like submittal, the 25% submittal, or SD submittal, DD submittal, 50% construction drawing submittal. You want that listed here of when those actually happened, but they're not even revisions yet. And then once it goes to bid, then you can start putting revisions and any changes that you made. So let me show you how to deal with that. All right, so what you do is, this is what mine looks like. And I want to show you how to get this box on here ready to go, and then how to put your revisions in onto these sheets. So let's take that step first, is how do you get your sheet ready for a revision? So I'm going to click on this actual title block. I'm going to hit Edit Family. And you know what I'm going to do? I know it sounds crazy, but I am going to delete my revision schedule. This is on the sheet. I'm going to delete it. Wait for it. Boom. Oh, it's gone. Ah. The reason I got rid of it is because I want to show you how to build this thing from scratch. Okay, scratch. Here we go. So I'm planning on putting my revisions right here. And I go, that looks like a good place. And your sheets are designed differently. So when you find an area, define an area on your sheets where your revisions are going to go. Then you come up here to, let's see, insert, no, create. That makes sense. Create, la, 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 la. Nope. Let's see, manage. Manage, where is it? View. There it is on the View tab. Revision schedule. When you click it, it is just a schedule. We're building a schedule. Okay. Do I want the sequence number description? Okay. Typically, I'm just going to get this sequence out of there. Revision number, the description, and the date. And so on the way I have always done it is you have a number and then the date and then the description of what it is. So I'm going to put those there. I'm going to say, okay. And what it does, it pops up, and this is what your revision schedule is going to look like when it's on the sheet. Okay. And so you have to decide whether you want a header and titles. This is the title, and these are the headers, and then information, the actual information comes in below it. Well, I want the number to actually be called mark, the mark number. That's just what I've called it always. And then the date is just going to be date, and the descriptions. And if I want the title to just be revisions or whatever, okay. So I look at it, I go, okay, let's see how that's going to look on my sheet. Okay. So what I do is I can set a couple of things in here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the title and over. Well, once we click on it, then we can change the appearance and the format and stuff. So I'm going to click on the format and get my face out of the way. Look, I want the number, the mark number to be centered, and I want the date to be centered, but I'm going to let the description be left justified. That sounds good to me. Okay. I'm going to go to the appearance. I'm going to say, you know what? My title is going to be, how about 1/8 inch bold title? And then my headers are going to be 1/10 inch bold, but then the body of the text is just going to be 1/10 inch normal, not bold. That looks good to me. Okay. So I've got some thin lines going to show up. A blank row before data. No, I don't like that. So, and top down. That's good. So you've got a lot of decisions to make here. So I'm just going to say, okay. And it starts updating some of that information here. And then I'm going to go back to my sheet. Now it's kind of funny. The sheet itself is this little dash. I don't know why, okay? See, if you expand under sheets, it's just that little dash. So you can double click on that little dash and it'll bring you back here to your sheet. You need to drag your schedule onto your view. So I'm going to drag my schedule over and I want to place it over here. And I'm like, you know what? I don't really need the word revision or whatever spelled out right in your face. So I'm going to go back here. Okay. Go back to my formatting or actually appearance. And I'm going to uncheck this box, show title. Uncheck that. So I only want the headers. So I'm going to say, okay. So look at that. It reduces, it gets rid of the title because everybody knows that's the revision area. So you don't have to say it. Lastly, what I need to do is get this the right size. So I'm going to pull this. Whoops. I'm going to pull the whole thing over. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to pull the whole thing over till it lines up on the left. Okay, good. Kind of where I want it. You can make your left border wherever you want. And then I'm going to make the word mark as small as possible without my words doing something like that. That's kind of silly when you do that. So you leave a word mark. Okay. And then the date about that big. And then description, I want it to end right there. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. And these will fill in by themselves as we go. Or you can have the boxes already built in. So you can go back to your, wait for it, back to your appearance and you say, okay, the actual height is variable set out of the box, which means it just fills itself in as it goes. But I am going to say, you know what, I'm going to say user defined. User defined is the setting the height of this thing so that I can get my lines, okay, grid lines. So I'm going to say, okay, and it pops in some over here, but not enough. So I'm going to click on this and drag it a little bit longer. There, so that it fills in this area that I can be using. Okay, and if that looks good enough to you, you can manipulate this how you want. You can go bottom up and it'll put the headers at the bottom feeding upward, whatever. You can turn off your grid if you don't want a grid. There's different ways to do it, but this is how the way I like it, okay? So now I'm going to load this back into my project, okay? And you can say, yes, save it somewhere on your server, but I'm just gonna bypass that. I'm gonna override my existing one. So here we go, wait for it. Bam. This is what it looks like when it's ready to go, okay? And let me just get my face out of the way. This is what it looks like. So I've got, it's ready to fill in. So here's how it happens. Here's how it works. If I put this typical revisions. Let's just say I have got a typical revision. Okay. Something needs revised after this goes out to bid. I would put a cloud, a revision cloud on here. Let me just show you. I'm going to say, wait for it, manage additional settings, this sheet issues and revisions. I'm going to click on that. And I'm like, revision, let's see it. Let's just look at this. The date that this revision's going out, let's just say the 6th of June in 22, whatever. This is going to be revision number 1. But you're like, wait a sec, we're not to bidding yet. We're not to the end of the phase. Why don't we, June 6th is actually when we have our SD submittal. SD submittal is going out. And I don't, it's not numeric and it's not alphanumeric. It's going to be none. So on June 6th, we have our SD submittal going out. Okay. I'm going to say, okay, good enough. So when I look over here, it's like, what's going on? How come my sheets are not showing the SD submittal? That's because I want to show you a special little feature. When you are on your view of the sheet, okay, you can look over here into your properties and it will say, there's a little area right here, the revisions that are on the sheet. It is a line item of this view. So I can click that. And when the dialog box pops up, take a look. Submittal, it doesn't have a checkbox next to it. So if I want SD submittal in June 6th to come up on the sheet, I just check that little box. And when I say, okay, look, ding, there it is. So June 6th is my SD submittal. And as the project progresses, let's just go with our DD submittal. All I gotta do is go to my additional settings, go to my sheets and my revisions, and get my face out of the way. And then let's say I'm going to hit add. Okay, I'm going to add in July. We were working really fast. The 12th of July, 22, we had our DD submittal. Okay, there, submittal. And I say, okay, bam. But it's not going to show up on my sheets. You have to go to each sheet and check the revisions on the sheet and say, check, you check the box. See, when these are, let me just show you, bam, and there it is, your DD submittal. That's why they call it sheet issues. These are sheet issues. When this sheet was issued for the SD submittal, and it was also issued for the DD submittal. But let's just suppose that I had another sheet that maybe I'm going to go to my second floor. My second floor plan, I'll just open it up. My second floor plan never did make it to the SD submittal, okay? It only got sent out for the DD submittal. So I can simply do that. I can say on this particular sheet, I want only this particular sheet was submitted for DD only. And so I can get exactly what I want to show up on these different issue dates, okay? This sheet was issued for DD, and if I go back to first floor, this one was issued for both the SD and the DD, okay? That's how issue dates work. Now, let's submit this thing for final CDs, and we're gonna pick a date, like whatever. I'm just gonna go to additional settings and go to my sheets and revisions, and I'm gonna hit add. And I'm going to add this on Christmas Day, December 22nd. I know it hasn't happened yet, but let's just work with me. I'm just throwing out numbers. Okay, the final, look at this, final submittal goes out. Okay, let's just say it does. In this sheet, my A101, all I got to do is click on, wait for it, revisions on the sheet. Yes, this one is getting submitted on Christmas Day. Bam, final submittal. and go to my second floor plan. And sure enough, that one is going out on Christmas. Bam. Okay. Boom. And so we send the set out and everybody's happy. Everybody's super happy that we were able to submit on Christmas Day in the United States. I know some of the other countries that you guys are from, you don't even care about Christmas, but for some reason that's important here in the US. And let's go now on the first floor. It turns out that we have a revision. And they're like, oh man, the door swing was totally wrong. And we submitted wrong. It's going the wrong way. People are going to die. Okay. So let's just say that's what's going on. This door swing is going into the conference room and it has to go out. Okay. Anything. It doesn't matter what the problem is. So I'm going to go to my first floor plan. Okay. First floor plan. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say, okay, this door swing actually needs to go the other way. And I'm going to tab, bam, there it is. It's going the other direction. And I'm moving my box of it. But you have to tell people when things happen for the revision or where they are. That's where the cloud comes in. Okay, so let's go up to do that. I'm going to go to annotate. And there it is, revision cloud. So I click on that. And I am just going to put a nice little cloud around this door. Okay, check the box. This door changed my life. Okay, this door is swinging out now, and I have to label it as revision number 1 for this project. But I don't have a revision 1. So I have to go make one. So I'm going to go to manage my additional settings and click on my sheet issues and revisions. And this is where I'm going to add. I'm going to say add. And this one's numeric. It's going to get a number 1 on it. The date was day after Christmas. Everybody noticed. So it's December, the day after Christmas. And it is revision. Look, revision 1. Okay. And showing you, for these other submittal dates and issue dates, you don't have to worry about any of this other stuff over here. But this is the key. The cloud and the tag are going to show in my project. I leave it on tag and show the cloud and tag. And I can change that to show nothing, show the tag, or show the cloud and the tag. But I'm going to put it on cloud and tag, okay, for revision 1. Now, this right here, I can actually move this other information out of the way, just so it's not bothering my submittal piece, this door going the wrong way. Now, what you do is after you put in a cloud, you click on the cloud, and set it right here for what revision it belongs to. Okay, in the drop down, there it is, revision 1. So I click on it and this thing gets assigned to revision 1. And that's important. But it's also important to put a tag on it. And so I'm going to hit TG on the keyboard for tag. Okay. And I'm going to turn off my leader. And I'm going to go right here. Look at this. When I hover on this, I click on it and I get a revision tag, and it's pulling the number 1. So let's go see what happened on our revision chart on the sheet. This particular revision is on the first floor plan, which is on the A101. So when I come to A101, I can see it. You see it right there because the view's there. So let's pan over and look at what happened. Look at that. This sheet was issued for SD and DD and final submittal, but it has revision 1 on it. I didn't have to go over and tell it to, let's just come over here for a second. Let me get my face out of the way. I did not have to come over here and click on the revision on the sheet and tell it to come on. The reason I didn't is because if a revision cloud is assigned to a revision and it is on your sheet, it will show up in this box. You can't just come in here and click on it and turn it off, because that would mean that there's a manual error, the possibility of you turning that off and then people not knowing that that revision's on that sheet somewhere. So it's an automatic feature that pushes true clouds. It pushes them into the revisions that are on the sheet. And so you can't uncheck that box. It's on there. If we go to the second floor plan, you'll notice that it is not showing here, and I can't make it show. Watch. It's not, look at this, revision 1. Oh, wait. Maybe, oh, wait. The reason I can turn it on and off here is because sometimes an entire sheet is part of the revision. Does that make sense? The whole sheet was issued as part of the revision, and not just a clouded area, but the whole sheet. And so I can check that box and it will put the revision 1 if this whole sheet was part of that revision. But that's why I have the ability to turn it on and off, okay? But if I go to my second floor plan, I'm gonna do it. And I'm going to my second floor plan and I notice, oh, there's something, maybe this rail needs to be fixed at a different height, possibly, whatever. I'm going to go ahead to annotate and put a revision cloud on that railing. Okay, right around that railing, boom. Okay, I click on the cloud. I make sure it's assigned to revision 1. I hit TG on the keyboard to tag it, and I tag it as 1 so people can find it when they go looking for it. And then what happens when I go back to the second floor? Look at this. It's automatically here because a revision is occurring on the sheet somewhere, okay? So that is how revisions work in Revit. It's a powerful, powerful feature. And I just wanted you guys to see how that worked. If you guys have any questions about revisions, turning them on and off on the different sheets, and even for the sheet submittals, turning those on and off, then put those questions in the comments below and then I'll address them. All right. I hope that helps you guys to build a Revit schedule on your sheets and then also use it properly back in Revit. All right, that's enough for today. You guys have a fantastic day. Until we meet again, happy Reviting. All right, bye-bye.